Hi there, Serial Trader here. Let's check with the major US indices. Alright, another day of strength. And now, as I've got it labeled here, it looks like we're getting quite mature in this short-term wave development. So we got our 1 up, 2 down, then a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of 3, and then potentially we have our, then our last 4 and now 5, okay? So just because you can count it as complete doesn't mean it is. It could subdivide further. You could have an extended fifth, or this third could be, extended, multiple extensions to it. But really, that's where you start weighing on other things. So we're now seeing divergences. This is the hourly chart. We're seeing, divergences on MACD. We're seeing divergences on RSI. So price is making higher highs, but these studies are making lower lows. So that's a bearish divergence, typical of what you see on this time frame of what will, at least be a short-term topping process. Okay. So that being said, doesn't mean we're done going up yet, but it means be ready for it, because this isn't going straight up. You're going to have at least some sort of a proportional pullback here. But that being said, don't try and guess where the top is if you're looking to short the market. But if you're long, just keep ratcheting your stops tighter. Don't leave them too loose, because this can really have a sharp pullback once it gets going. Now, if we go to the candlestick chart, now this is interesting, because this somewhat conflicts with that short-term, well, not really conflicts, but so, okay, we had this resistance level from March. We were stalling at it. Now, clearly closed above it. Not only closed above it, did a bullish engulfing and closed above it. And we engulfed 2 prior candlesticks on SPX here. So, I mean, that's a powerful signal, although will it have the next 3 to 5 candlesticks to the upside? Because that's what that signal implies. Certainly can't disregard it, even though, it looks kind of topped out short term on the wave patterns. So interesting. It could, could prove to be a failed bullish engulfing, and that would only be the case if we take out the bottom of today's candlestick at 27.89.24. But our oscillator's overbought. But again, your overbought oscillator doesn't mean much when you're actually on a trending breakout, and I'll show you what I mean. So during our range bound period, these have marked the tops and bottoms of these range bound moves quite well. But let's go back over here. So over here we were just going, as straight up as you could go. I mean, these pullbacks you see are just minuscule compared to the overall trend that was taking place. Now I'm just going to point out, okay, so let's say here we got overbought in the oscillator, but look, it just kept going. It just stayed overbought relentlessly till it finally stopped and had this big decline, right? So what I'm getting at is, just because we're overbought here doesn't mean much now that we're actually getting above these resistance levels. We really could trend up, maybe even challenge this high, although I think we have a short-term pullback before we get there. But you know what? You never know. Okay, so there's the take on SPX there. Now the Dow is just following along. It's still farther away from this resistance level, and I'm not sure if it'll get there or not. I'm pretty sure it'll pull back nicely with the other 2 indices before we get to this, but time will tell. Okay, NASDAQ composite. Again, okay. So NASDAQ opened lower today, and actually right around that T line. Then we had a huge day up in the NASDAQ, made new all-time and closing highs, intraday and closing highs. Did a bullish engulfing, engulfed 1, 2, 3. Well, yes, at least 3 prior real bodies. Okay, so that's quite a powerful signal. And again, we're in the overbought condition on the NASDAQ as well, but how meaningful is that when you're, literally there is no resistance. We're just making new highs at this point, new all-time highs. But looking mature in our pattern, okay? And looking mature just like on our wave relationship. So the NASDAQ waves. So we have our, let me just get the wave tool out here. So we have a 1 up, 2 down, maybe 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of 3, just like SPX on the other chart. 4, 5 potentially, you know, done. And then within 3, this is really identical as far as the wave count goes, short term to SPX. You know, we have within the 3, we have a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. One lesser degree there, sub-minuet. Something like this. So really looking very mature and showing the same divergences on this hourly chart that SPX is. So it certainly looks ripe for at least a short-term pullback, right? Keep that in mind. I wouldn't be getting aggressively long here. That's the real message here is we're not at the point for an entry by the looks of it. All right, so that's where we're on the NASDAQ. But you know what? Hey, bullish engulfing. Who's to say it doesn't have further strength? And maybe we just go straight up and challenge the top of this final channel. We'll have to see. I kind of doubt it, but you never know. Okay, we'll go with the VIX. And obviously with the equities going up, VIX is just remaining at the bottom of its range. Okay, but I expect any kind of modest pullback in the equities to bring VIX up into at least the middle of its range, if not the upper end of its range. So maybe between 14, 15, maybe up to 18 or around 20. And I'm still holding those long VIX calls expiring third week of August. I still fully expect to sell those for a profit on any kind of little short-term spike up in VIX. And then, hey, it's like a lottery ticket. If for some reason there's some huge sell-off and VIX just has a massive spike, well, all of a sudden those are ridiculously profitable. And in fact, not saying this is going to happen. In fact, not likely to. But let's just say we have our VIX 50 event, you know, Black Swan summer event, July or August, whenever, who knows. What would happen to the position currently on if VIX went to 50? Well, let's go look at our risk profile here. So if we're at 50, we're looking at, well, right now before expiration, $429,000 profit, and at expiration, $361,000 profit. So clearly, if there's an explosion in volatility and a huge decline in the indices in the next 30 days or so, those VIX calls are just going to do absolutely fantastic. But that's not what I put them on for. I put them on for more something like, okay, if we get up to the middle of this range of VIX in the next 30 days, which is highly likely. In fact, go find a 30-day period on this chart where we didn't go up into this range, and I don't think you can do it. So let's just say we get to 16. So if we go to 16, you know, at expiration we're up 20,000. Right now, before expiration, we're up over 40,000. That's more what I'm looking for, realistically. Anyway, see what the rest of the week brings with the indices here. All right, that's good for now. Serial Trader signing off.